Hey YouTube, this is Scarecrow Kaiser. So, this is a deck profile on my first place, completely undefeated, 7-0 Spino Ancient Dragon deck and Michigan State Championship. So, yeah, I went 7-0 with this deck and completely undefeated throughout the event. So, basically, the reason I wanted to play this was back when I went to ARG Detroit, I was either going to play this or Thavas. As we all know, I played Thavas and I won. But I kind of regretted at the time that I didn't play this because Aquaforce is already known to be a good deck. But I wanted to prove this deck is good. People don't even consider this deck. They'll talk about Gaia Emperor before they talk about this, and I honestly think in comparison, Gaia Emperor is trash to this deck. This deck is so much better than Gaia Emperor. So that's why I played it. I went completely undefeated with it. I mean, it's just states. It's not as big as if it was an actual circuit series or something like that. But still, it was something to say that the deck didn't lose any matches. So that's why I wanted to play the deck and prove its worth, which I did as best as I possibly could. So, to get into the deck profile, it's not vastly different if you've seen my deck profile on it before. So, it's just a little bit different since then. So, I'll get started anyway. So, I guess I'm starting with the zeros this time. My starter was Baby Kamara. I like it better than the Ancient Dragon Pterodactyl thing that gives 2 guys +3, because this thing replaces itself. The Pterodactyl doesn't. It gives power, but this thing also gives power. The thing you bring out gets +3, so it becomes a 10. So even if it's teamed with another grade 1, it's still making a strong column. And if you bring out the 10k grade 1 behind like an 11k, now it's a 21 column. So very good card. The trigger lineup was 6 Ancient Dragon crits, 4 Ancient Dragon draw, 2 regular draw, and 4 heal. This deck attacks so much that I didn't feel like I needed the crits. The sheer number of attacks would do the damage for me. I just needed the resources so I could throw down a field consistently and like keep bashing my opponent in the face with it. So that's why I went for the 6 draw, 6 crit. For my ones, 4 unflipping perfect guards. This deck counterblasts like a lot, so you kind of need them. 4 stride enablers, because Gluttony Dogma is an amazingly broken card. And you got to make sure you can stride into it. Like in top 4, I was playing a match. My opponent was at 2 damage and had 7 cards in hand, and I said, "Well, you're gonna lose this turn." Played out my whole hand and killed him, even though he had 7 cards and only 2 damage. 3 Nato Tank, damage unflipping and give somebody +4. A very, very, very good card, mostly for the fact that it unflips, but that +4 it gives is also really helpful. And then 3 Iguanagore, because he revives, especially important on the turn that you drop Gluttony. Grade 2s, we got 3 Dino Crowd, a really good Vanguard ride on turn 2. And then you call out some guys who can revive, attack with them, attack with him, sacrifice the guy who's already attacked, revive that card, and then attack with that card. And there's like a combo I'll get to later about him. 4 Tyrannobite, he revives. The deck would kind of suck if he didn't exist, but he exists, so the deck does not suck. And 4 of the really, really broken grade 2 in the deck, Hypnofang, or Hypnohang, whatever you say his name is. This card is really, really, really busted. If your Vanguard's a Spino, and it just attacked at the Vanguard, you can retire something, stand it, and gains +3. So you can attack with something, attack with him, stand him by retiring the thing that already attacked, revive the thing that already attacked. Like that already has given you 2 additional attacks on what you would have normally had. He's a very, very good card. And again, he's part of a combo I'll get into. For the grade 3s, it's 4 of the Break Ride Spino and 4 of his loop cross ride form thing. So one thing I'm going to get into, since I've gotten into these, I'm going to talk about how good this guy is. Sometime, like probably 50-60% of the time, I'd actually rather ride this guy first than the actual Break Ride. Now I'll explain why. So, and it will come with a funny kind of story. So the turn you ride this dude, your cards that are retired, you can revive them by counterblasting. So to give you an example of how busted this card is, in round 3 I'm playing against Revengers. He chose to make me go first, and he had to ride mana, so he's just an 8k. I rode this, the skill's active. I called 2 Hypnofangs, and I went attack 9, retire, stand +3, skill, counterblast, revive, attack 12, attack 9, stand, revive, attack 12, attack 9, retire, stand. You see what I mean here? He died before he could ride grade 3. You can also do the combo using Dino Crowd. So you can have 1 Hypnofang and 1 Dino Crowd, or you can have 2 Dino Crowds and do the combo. As long as you have like the damage, you can like keep punching them once you ride him. Pretty busted. So that's it for the main deck. Onto the G Zone. I played 1 Blizza. I used him like once. Mostly he was in there for certain kinds of matchups, like Kagero, Narukami, Link Joker, those sort of things. And what I mean by that is when you're playing against decks like that, this deck has a really good matchup against those. And all 3 of those are pretty relevant decks in the meta, so what you can do with this clan is that you have the ability to throw down stuff, attack with it, then sacrifice it, say punch your opponent, say go, they're like, there's nothing I can do, there's no field, gets back to your turn, do the same thing, like, and then having the Blizza on top of it, it can go out there all by itself, swing really big. Even if they're going to perfect guard it, you're still forcing them to draw a perfect guard and leaving them more vulnerable for when you're going to throw down your whole hand with your Gluttony Dogma turn and finish them off. I played 1 of the equipment guy. He's probably what I strode into for my first stride, like 80% of the time. His effect is not very good. The fact that he has Engorge is really good. His effect, though, is not so hot. He gets +3, which is completely not relevant. But he also kills something in the front row, which is kind of cool. The fact that when he swings, you can engorge cards is what makes him good. Because you can throw down like a column of Tyrannobite and a Guanagorg, swing 16. Then you can swing with him, engorge that column, revive that column. So he can create you a brand new column as well as killing something in the front row. Sometimes you actually engorge more than 2 to do the right play. It sounds weird, but sometimes that actually is the right play. 1 Arc Raider. He's a pretty good card too. If you don't have to retire more than like 1 guy for your plan to go off, this guy's probably the better option. He has to hit to kill something, but sometimes he actually is the better option. Then I played 1 Pearly Titan. I think I used this card like twice the whole day. Again, like Blizza, it was a little bit better against matchups where I wasn't committing to the field because of my, like in the last match of the tournament I was playing against Dodex, and I wasn't leaving him rear guards because I'm not retarded. So and then I would stride this, and he'd be like, "I don't have anything. You do. Kill your card, gain the power, punch you for a big number." Like, I hardly ever use this thing though. It's not that good of a card, but. And then last, I played for Dogma, the definitely one of the strongest grade 4s in the game. I would definitely consider him at least in the top 5. He is a very, very, very strong card. This card is, if your opponent's not afraid when this thing comes out, like, they don't understand how strong this card is. Like, even if I haven't killed people, like in round 2 when I played against Royal Paladin, he had like 2 damage and like a 9-card hand, but by the end of it, he had 5 damage and no cards in hand. So, and I obviously had a pretty safe hand at that point. So, like, to go from like 2 damage to 5 and use up like your whole hand to just survive, like, that's a testament how savage this card is. And obviously, like, the rear guards in this deck are what contribute to this, how busted the turn he comes out is. So, but yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Pretty much, it covers it all. I want people to start taking this deck more seriously. This deck is much, much better than people give it credit. So thank you for watching.